Pulp MX Network production.
Welcome to the Troy Lee Designs and Racetech Suspension and Engines Blair Matthes Project.
Welcome, everybody, to the Blair Matthes Project. The guys at Troy Lee Designs, Racetech, bringing this to you. We are back after a week off, which we will get to on why that happened. But thanks for watching and listening, man. Really appreciate it. Lots to get into. Off weekend this weekend, but still lots of stuff to talk about, of course, here on the Troy Lee Designs Racetech Blair Matthes Project. Thank you to Troy Lee for coming on board. You've seen the gear, of course, for years, right? From Ernesto Fonseca to Cole Seeley to now Justin Barsha. If you want a code to save with Troy Lee gear, email us using a contact form on pulpmx.com. We'll pass you a code to save at TLD. Born in 1981, Troy started with custom painted helmets, of course, who didn't want to blend in, and now they're making some of the most iconic gear in the motocross and mountain bike world. TLD is all about pushing boundaries and standing out. TroyLeeDesigns.com. Ride with the gear that says you're here to make a statement. Thank you to TLD for coming on board. And who can forget those Aero visors, the Aero 2 visors? Man, those things were sweet. And also Racetech, racetech.com. Suspension for the stars. Get your bike suspension serviced. Get your bike dialed in for your weight and or speed. Get the oil change done. Tell them you listen to Pulp. You'll get a discount. They do motor work now as well. They have Racetech authorized service centers all across America, so you can probably find one in your local area or ship it right to racetech.com. Suspension seminars every fall. A lot of the guys in the motocross world that you see in the pits have gone to these Racetech technical seminars. So stay tuned for those in the fall. But racetech.com, thank you to those guys. And Zool's, Seat Concepts, Maxxis, Firepower, ASV Levers, Decal Works, and Alpine Stars all on board with us as well. And we got some codes to save with some of those people. We'll give you the reads later on. But I'm Steve Matthes, got a producer, Kellen Brower, and the guy in the other screen there, Daniel Blair. What's up, DB? How are you?
I'm good, and I made it. It was a tough travel day, Steve. When you fly Southwest Airlines, you get home, but it's not always easy, and I made it barely. And we were this close to having to postpone this sucker, and I know you guys got plans at the end of the week. So I made it, though. Thank you, Southwest, for coming through in the clutch, barely. And I'm home, and I'm back.
Well, listen, Daniel, we got lots to talk about, and I don't want to start the show off on a negative tone, but I know you're a big Southwest flyer. Did you get that email about all those changes they're making?
No, well, other than the seating stuff,
No,
right? That was
they are clamping down on their cheap tickets. They're clamping down on changes. They're charging for bags now.
Oh, since when? I mean, well, let's be clear. I am A-list preferred, so maybe this won't affect me because I'm one of the high rollers over at Southwest, but that would be bad for them, man. I mean, I tell everybody, Southwest is the Walmart of the sky where everybody's first class. And if they ruin that, then I don't know what their shtick is going to be, because that's what got me. And I fly out of GSP a lot, which is an American hub, like a mini American hub. So they better not mess around, man. I've been loyal for a long time, and they better keep my bags free and keep me at the front of that plane.
Listen, sir, you better Google Southwest, because I fly them 5 or 6 times a year, and their changes are not good. But let's move on. This is not the frequentflyer.com podcast show.
No.
And yes, we are going to talk about the thing later on in the show. Daniel had a very emotional week. We were not able to do one last week, but we'll get into that. But first up, Daniel, off week, but not for the guys. Motocross testing, Supercross testing. They are going to get the weekend off, but in talking to a lot of the top factory riders, I kind of sent some text out. The business goes on, man. Like, they are not exactly heading to Cabo for the week.
You know, I was thinking about that actually, because everybody's got their own approach to the off week. And I was thinking, like, if you're Cooper Webb right now, you just roll. Like, I mean, you're doing so good and Chase is doing so bad. So you're just kind of wanting to keep rolling. Hammaker gets his big win. So you'd love to just go flying into the next weekend. And then Deegan obviously he's kind of found it. Even though he didn't win the last race, he kind of did. He won his coast and handled his business and opened up his points lead. So if you're those guys, you kind of want to just keep going. But man, if you're Sexton right now, like I think you got to go do something like different. You know what I mean? Like, if you just go right back into it and just start testing and that guy needs something like he needs shock therapy or something like that. But and Juju needs some time to heal. So I don't know what he's going to do. Max Anstey, from what I understand, needs a little time too. So I think for some it's good, but then for some it's just like, yeah, back to the grind, start testing outdoors. And I don't know, man. I feel like it's a little bit too gnarly on these guys, and they should be a little bit more strategic, I guess, with this break. The weekend off is cool, but at the end of the day, like maybe one day this week and then one day, I just feel like they should do a little bit more than take a weekend break, because they're about to go into the 8-week run. And then what, we have 1 week off and then right into out. It is brutal. It feels brutal right now. And for the most part, from what I've heard, everyone's grinding, and it's crazy to me. And then they complain why they're tired. And I think they could be more strategic about it.
Yeah, it's the whole thing, right? If they take the week off, their competitors are not, so they better go riding. It's the same thing about I need time off in the off season. Oh, wait, Paris is offering me 100K, and the World Supercross guys are sending me some gold bars, so I better go do that. But wait, I'm tired. I need time off, et cetera, et cetera. The grind never stops for these guys. It goes on and on. But, man, I'll tell you what, like back in my day, I used to get so pissed because we'd go through the whole season. Steel City would come, final round of the Nationals. And before Steel City, the week before Steel City, we'd build Supercross test bikes. And we would be on the Supercross track Tuesday after Steel City to start riding and testing. And I used to just be like, guys, can we get a week off? Like just 4 days off? No, Tuesday, Supercross test track. Okay, here we go. Like, it's crazy, you know?
But if you're getting something new, like say you have a new model bike, or maybe you're a new rider on the team, I could see the urgency. But say you're just going back to the same program and there's no change in the model, I don't understand it. Especially, this happens a lot. I actually brought this up, I think, a couple of years ago. Barsha was going from 1 year to the next year, but there was no change in the model on his bike, on this gas. I think it was 2 years ago. It was the year before they made the big switch over, and he ended the year before like on fire, like in Supercross. He was really good at the last couple. And my thought was, why would you rush right into testing when you ended last year really, really strong? There's not a lot of new that's going to be found. Do you even want to find anything new because you ended last year really well? You didn't gain any weight or any height. So to me, I think there's, like you said, it's a desperation. It's a little bit of a worry that everyone else is doing it. But I would be looking for reasons to not get right back into it and not push it, because you do need these breaks. And it's not just physical. I think it's even more emotional, because a season can tax you pretty hard. You need to be able to like take little breathers here and there. And maybe you do a few breathers a year, even. Like, again, if I'm Chase Sexton this week, I'm not testing. I'm not testing or training test anything. I'm literally probably taking a full reset mentally, emotionally, physically, and then starting back up maybe on Sunday if I feel like it, maybe go spin a lap or two and then get back into my mode. But you're right. I think it's a desperation to keep up with what the others might be doing, when really a break sometimes is actually better for you than digging deeper into a hole that you've maybe dug yourself into. So it's crazy, but I get it. That's what they do. It's never going to change. And that's part of it, man.
No,
So
for sure.
there they are, grinding.
Some of it, you have to get started quickly after the end of the Nationals, or now SMX, because you need to order the parts from Japan or from Austria that you've chosen. So you
like
do
new stuff, right?
Yeah, you need a couple months of manufacturing if you want that taller second gear or that taller third gear or those special clamps or whatever. But yes, the week after Steel City or the week after SMX seems extreme. But Sexton's a good place to start here for you, because I wrote my column on Racer X, and yeah, you seem like we might be able to battle this out a little bit, DB, because he did throw away 2 points with the crash in the sand, but he did take third. I wrote that it was okay that we have this segment like, I don't know, man, and Sexton's been the winner for 3 weeks. Well, the sand got him, but the sand got a lot of guys, so I'm not really holding that against Chase. He did need to get second. He needed to stop the bleeding, and he lost those 2 in the sand. But to me, he did somewhat stop the bleeding and ended up on the box, and which he hadn't done. And so, I was a little, maybe say less harsh than you seem to be on his ride in Indianapolis.
Well, I agree with you on the sand, because that definitely, Coop went down in the sand that day. So, it was a tough sand section. I actually grabbed a bunch of people. And so I'll give him a little bit more of a pass on at least what happened. But I'm just looking at the grand scope here. This is 5 straight weeks. And if you go back to Glendale, he won Glendale with Jet and Eli on the gate. It was still stacked. It was full. It was The tension was still there at the top with those guys. And since they've been out, since they have not been on the gate, he's lost every race. And so this to me is just part of the accumulation, which is why I think he needs a full reset. I mean, again, a life reset. You need to go do something. Go call Malcolm, go fishing, do something. I mean, do something that is non-dirt bike related so that you can come back with a clean reset. And so I think I'm with you on the individual night. And Coop was just a freak show. Honestly, he was so damn good in that main event. Like maybe the best I've seen him as far as just, I mean, you know, Steve, he's won a lot of races, but he doesn't do them all with a lot of authority. He does it through playing chess, through calculation. I mean, he plays the track, he plays the lappers, he plays the rider. This was just a straight whooping, like got in the lead, checked out. So I just feel like for Chase, yeah, maybe this one wasn't as bad individually as the other ones, but it's just part of these dominoes that have been just dropping 5 in a row. And he's 15 down, and that's not a crazy place to be when we're actually on the halfway point. I don't know if it feels crazy to you, but we're actually halfway through. And it's like, well, look what happened in the first half. That was an insane first half. So there's a lot of things that can happen in the back half of this, especially when you have open roof from here on out. I mean, every stadium is open. So I think from a championship perspective, he's fine. I just think the guy needs to press the reset button in whatever way possible to just start over because it's not working and it's 5 in a row.
Yeah, listen, Cooper Webb, 2-2-1-1-2-1. The ultimate closer, man. Just lots can happen, as you said, and it's Supercross. It's tough in this media game that we do, and Kellen will know this too, like NFL, we all love the NFL. Well, Kellen doesn't, but we love the NFL. And like, you can kind of say with certainty that the starting quarterback of your team will probably not tear an ACL, with half the season remaining. Like he could, yeah, for sure. Or your star receiver will probably not get hurt. And you can forecast the team's games going out and speak about the strengths and the weaknesses. But in our sport, man, yeah, it can change in a split second. And Cooper Webb could go down and get hurt and be gone. It's Chase Sexton, all the same thing. So it does take a little bit of the guesstimation of talking about these riders in the media. Hard to do. It's just hard to do. But it's part of the game. It's why we signed up. It's why we are the heroes that we are, Daniel. But
that's right. But
50,
hey, let me add something.
Yeah.
Cooper Webb, remember the year at Arlington when he crashed off the Dragon's back onto the concrete?
Yes.
He lost that title to Eli Tomac. That was a little uncharacteristic for him, but that's because he was behind in points and he was having to push really hard to try to close the gap. Think about Nashville, which Nashville was bad luck. I mean, he just fell in a corner and got ran over, right? Remember AC hits. But both of those times when Coop had his issues that kind of smashed him a little bit out of this thing is when he was in a mode where he had to really push because he was making up a difference. He hasn't really been that much of a crasher. I mean, he crashed in qualifying.
He crashed 3 times total in Indy. Yeah,
he did.
Yeah,
but he hasn't had his big eliminate him moments when he's been tight in a championship fight. It's always when he's having to dig out of a little bit of a hole. So now that he's in the place he's in, I don't know if he goes into management mode. I don't even know if that would work for him because he seems to always be better as an underdog. But he's not desperate right now. He's definitely not desperate. And I think the 2 years where he had his big ones, he was having to push harder than maybe he was comfortable at that time. So to your point about the injury thing, anything can happen. I mean, look at Jet and Eli. They put their leg out. So, I mean, anything can happen. But I do think Coop is a very controlled racer, and he's in control. And I think that's good for him as far as having an issue. I think he's strong in this place. So
yeah, and really, it's hard to see. Like, look, Kenny fell and came back to 6th, I believe, right? If Coop falls in Indy, the way he was riding, I still think he ends up on the box, man. He's riding that well. And going forward, it's going to have to take a huge mistake by Coop to not somehow get a top 3 or 4. If you look at Chase Sexton, if he wins the race, which, I mean, he's certainly capable of, he's 15 down. It's going to take 3 races to make that up. If Coop gets second, it's going to take a little more. If he can't pull it off, it's so tough to make up these points on a guy like Cooper Webb right now. And Sexton could win the next 3 or 4 in a row, but I mean, does it seem like it? No, it does not. Is between his starts and his crashes, the complete package is missing right now. But speaking of packages, Zools will take your packages and put them in bags. It's really easy. You've got one behind you there. Zools, whether you're traveling for a sporting event, pleasure, going to the moto track, whatever it is, backpacks, travel, roller, bags, gear bags, and more. Zools is the official luggage sponsor of Triumph and Phoenix Racing. Kennard, Osborne, Pastrana, and more. Choose Zools for their bags. Zools Bag Co. ZULZ bagco.com. Pulp 25 saves you with Zool's bags and great stuff. They have a gear bag. Taking a little bit of shot at you, DB, because you're a smaller stature guy. They have a gear bag that will fit you in it. 100%. You can fit in this one gear bag. I swear to God. And then Maggie,
I can almost get in this thing.
Yeah, Maggie could.
My daughter can get in this backpack thing I got.
Yeah, for sure. Maggie can put you in this bag and then just check you and stay away from those Southwest seat fares.
Yeah, well, we might have to do that. We may have to do that if they're going to make changes. Then we're going to have to get a little risky with it. So send me one. Tell Zools to get me one of them too, because this thing's been awesome. I just used it this last little trip I went on. So get me a gear bag, Steve.
All right. Seat Concepts as well. Ride the world with them. Pulp 25 to get 15% off. Seat Concepts, Factory Beta, Phoenix Racing, and Pro Yamaha, SLR Honda, just a few of the teams using it. They got a proprietary foam going on, handcrafted seat shapes, dual sport stuff, motocross stuff, seatconcepts.com. All things seats, complete stuff, build your own, whatever it is. Pulp 25 to save 15% off at seatconcepts.com. And Maxxis Tires, I'm wearing the shirt right now, Maxxis Tires, Maxxis.com. Mountain bike tires, dirt bike tires. Jeremy McGrath helped develop them. You look at Hunter Yoder putting the Maxxis tires through the LCQ and into the showdown race. And Fras Freddie Noren into the main event with his Maxxis tires. So thanks to the folks at Maxxis.
Yeah, I'm giggling, man. I mean, I like Hunter Yoder. He's my boy. But I like Jet Reynolds too. But, dude, that was wild, right? I mean, I actually like jumped out of my seat when that one happened. And shout out for Hunter Yoder getting on the podium and just dropping heat, dude. I don't know if you heard his interview after the LCQ win, but oh God, he made sure that everyone understood how the whole year was going because he was pissed. I mean, and I know why he's pissed. It's the East-West race. I mean, you could very easily not get in because of something weird, and he's been doing good, so I could see how pissed he was. But dude, Jet Reynolds had that one lined up early and just bro.
My whole thing with passing is if you end up on the ground with the guy, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
It wasn't there.
Kind of not. It's the rule, kind of, right? It's the unspoken rule. Like, you got to stay up.
You got to pull it off. And you know that from your arena cross days.
Bam. Well, Bam Bam, again, I remember the Indy one where he took out Jason. I remember Salt Lake where he took out Malcolm. Those hits, he stayed up. Mm-hmm. So you kind of go, well, I mean, was it that bad if he stayed up? But Reynolds, I think he hoped to stay up.
How many times do you think, and you know amateur stuff, how many times in Jet Reynolds' career has he had to even do that? He has probably no idea how to pull a pass off like that. The kid's led 8 million laps in his career.
I don't think he passed anyone for 5. He won 10 straight Loretta titles. That's 2 a year for 5 years straight. Probably not a lot of passing. He probably doesn't even know how, really. So I think he was like, this will be a good block pass, but it was so bad. And dude, good on Hunter Yoder too to just get up, because you know sometimes these guys get up pissed and they're all yelling and screaming. He was trying to get up and still get in, almost got in, and kind of saved him for his gate pick for the LCQ. So I mean, Hunter got blasted, but at the same time, I got to give him a shout out for the podium interview to go and say what he said, and shout out for the TV crew to get him on too, because they don't always do LCQ guys, but JT went right in there for the kill shot too, man. Hey, tell us what you think about what happened, and he answered. So I thought it was a cool moment for him to get a little justice for that T-bone. It was bad. Listen, the next topic is something you brought up, DB, and I'm not happy with this. Vialle pulling a ferry. Yeah, what's that? I'm not saying it as a diss. I'm asking you straight up. Seems like a diss. No, because here's the thing: if you can win a championship without winning a race like Timmy did, there's magic in that, because it shows how unbelievably consistent that you are. I mean, you can't blow any. A lot of times a guy will win 2 or 3 races, but they'll have a throwaway. You know what I mean? And if you don't win one, that means you didn't have any throwaways. So when I'm looking at the schedule, I'm going, man, can Vialle win this thing without winning one of these? We got 2 more showdowns. We got some open stadiums. I know he's pretty good in mud, but so is Max Anstey. I'm just saying, Steve, it's not a diss, but we may see it again. We may see our second champion without winning a race. I don't know what you're talking about, man. All I remember is Ferry swept that series. That's all I remember. That's it. Just beat Ricky Carmichael, beat John Dowd, beat Ron Cotta, beat them all. Let's talk bonuses. A little different these days, huh? Yeah, Red Dog got $25K for that East Coast title. You think Vialle's getting a little more than that? What do you think? I mean, I think they get 500. I think the standard on these factory teams is 500K, man. That is 20 times, man. Red Dog, if you're listening, 20 times the cash, man.
I think his salary was 27, and he got 25 for the title.
52 overall, and then no win bonuses, and AMA is probably $300 back then to get second.
Yeah,
I mean, we're talking about a $60K title total.
And I think he got $12K for his gear. And he's a factory rider.
75. We'll go $75K for a championship run, dude.
It's phenomenal.
And
back then.
Did he say the trophy? He doesn't even know where. Did he have it as his doorstop or something?
That was his trophy for his first ever national win was his doorstop. Yeah, High Point 95. It was his doorstop. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Hey, something.
Hey, but do you think Vialle could do it? Do you think? I think he could. I think he could win it without it.
I think
straight up with four. There's 4 guys in this thing. And 2 more showdowns. He could win it without winning one. He could do it. It could happen.
He could, and I think I've been a little underestimating him. Like, to me, Max was so good the first 2, and even in Daytona, Max was good. Dead last to 5th on that track. Good job. And RJ's a beast and an animal, and now Seth is really good. I just skip over Vialle all the time, and I'll tell you who's probably the most upset is our guy Kellen Brower, our producer, because yes, Vialle's not his guy, but you know who he does love is Marvin Muscan. And to me, watching Vialle ride, Marvin works with him. He reminds me of Marvin. He looks like Marvin. Marvin's helping him. Kellen Brower is probably not going to stand for this disrespect of Vialle.
Well, what I won't stand for, to be honest, is that I've somehow been lumped in by my friend Lewis as one of the people like you guys that did not say Vialle had a chance to win this title.
You totally did.
When I specifically said he should be the favorite. But Lewis Lewis told me on the show this week that we as the media have not done a good enough job hyping up Vialle. And I said, I think I did a pretty good job. So, yes.
Yeah.
I'm feeling vindicated.
No, you absolutely did.
I haven't given him enough respect. I definitely. It's been so quiet, and even last year's title was won so calculated. He doesn't scream like hype. You know what I mean? He's very underhyped. This is kind of how he goes about it in general. So I've probably been a little too down on him and not believing enough. And he's done a good job. So my bad.
He has. No, he has. I still don't think he's winning this thing. I would still put RJ, then Max, and maybe Hammaker. Hammaker's 11 points down now after that win. I would put them all ahead of him, but maybe not, man. He's got the red plate, so maybe I need to get my head around this thing.
He gets his red plate back because I think his bikes looked sick with the black background. I'm a nerd for the bikes and the gear, and I like the black background. So that's kind of a bummer. He's got the red plate back. Hey, when it popped up on screen too, I was like, oh, damn.
Me too.
Oh, damn. He's got, I was like actually caught off guard. I didn't even know that the math worked that way for him. But yeah, he's got that red background now. And since round 1, he hasn't had it.
Firepowerparts.com. They make great loading ramps, Daniel. You know that. You've got a few of them. You're like a Hamburglar, but for loading ramps.
Inventory. It's called inventory.
Firepower stands, Firepower tie downs are amazing. They got those tie downs that with the loop that you loop around the bars and you pull it down. And it's really, really good. Firepowerparts.com for more information. Hard parts available, and they're going to expand their line as well. The Firepower guys are going to do that, so thank you to them as well. Daniel, something that you know Cole Davies really well, brought him over here and lost him to Star. Great work on that. But you do know him. There's no doubt. Like, okay, look, he won Futures. He won 3 or 2, and Drew Adams won the other ones. I don't remember how it went, but he was a good Futures rider. And there is no doubt he has stepped up his game massively, right? In Supercross. Now, you look at Gavin Towers or Bennick or these other guys that won Futures, and they are doing what they're doing, and there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. But Davies has gone to another level. His speed is amazing. The whoops this weekend Indy were just insane. So my question for you, there's no doubt his motocross skills lag behind his Supercross skills. You told me that when you first brought him over. We saw him at the Combine. He did win one or got second and one behind.
He won Ironman, the second one.
He won Ironman. Do you think, and I think I know the answer, but Daniel, do you think Davies' jump in Supercross skills will also see a jump in motocross skills this year?
Yes, but not at the same level. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I'm one of the biggest believers in that kid on the planet, and I didn't see this coming all the way. Like I felt that he would get there because I knew the fundamentals were solid. I knew the brain is pretty solid. The kid's got a pretty good head on his shoulders. So I believe that rookie year would be pretty good. Sophomore year would be good. I mean, I really felt the trajectory would lead him to where he is now. I didn't know it was going to happen this fast. So I think the problem for him now is that it's so good indoors that you would think that the outdoors has to follow. And I don't think it will follow as much as Supercross did. I think it might take to year 2 or 3 before we see him be full product outdoors. You know, I know the family well. I still talk to his dad all the time, and Supercross was a heavy focus there once they got on big bikes. And he didn't abandon outdoor. He was still riding it, but you know, they had a good plan in place to really develop him in those right years and get him ready for this. And the outdoor stuff lagged a little bit behind. But when he got the star ride, he was okay at Redbud. He had some fast laps here and there, but it was kind of a weird day. Remember, they only did one moto that day, so it wasn't really good proof. Then Loretta's was off, but it was his first time at the ranch against all these kids that raced his whole life. But he did have one moto where he just smashed all of them. And then he went to Ironman, came from way back in the first moto, got up to third, I believe, and then, or maybe second. But he got the overall by winning the second moto, and it was pretty impressive. And then you go to Vegas, which was the SMX round, had some outdoor sections in that, and he was pretty phenomenal there. So to say like he's a Supercross only guy in the outdoors, that's not true. He is going to be great outdoors. But I just don't know if it's going to be as fast because it's always dragged a little bit behind in their preparation. So I hope, this is what I hope, is that the expectations are for him to just go and get like some single digits, go get some 8s and some 9s. And if you go 11-7 on a week, I hope that that's okay, because in reality, he is a championship favorite next year, no matter what. I mean, he might end up second in this championship. He's third now. He might get the second. He comes around next year and he's the title favorite on either coast, because look how good he was at Glendale on the hardpack. Look how good he was at Indy in the ruts. Look how good he was at the showdown. He's not fazed by anything indoors. So next year he's a title threat. And I wouldn't want that being ruined by having too much expectation this summer, trying to meet some criteria or number that really isn't meant to be there yet. So I hope he does 22 motos, just does his 70 minutes every day and just gets whatever he gets. And if it's a 5th, sick. If it's a 12, 11, who cares? Figure out what went wrong, go work on it. But they better keep the expectations off of him and then put him right back on, probably come SMX, and then for sure come either Anaheim or wherever East is going to be, because he is a title favorite next year if nothing ruins it. So that's my hope and my expectation, that he's going to be good, just good. And that's where he should be.
All right, next up, Jay Coop. We had him on the show Monday night. Justin Cooper, career best, second place at Indy. He mentioned his contract's up. Phil said he's underpaid. Phil said he should start a vlog. Phil said people need to know him better. Regardless of that, and Justin gave a pretty good answer about basically like, look, money's not everything. Having a bike on the team, aka where he is important too. But you know, we about 4 or 5 episodes ago, we did the Anderson, Mookie, Barsha, who would you hire Anderson thing. I guess we got to throw Jay Coop in there too. I didn't maybe put him in that list. Do you bump Justin Cooper above the guys that we talked about a few shows ago?
I don't even consider them in that group, I guess, because they're in this world of been around for a long time, older. It's a different thing with them. And I guess I've never really thought about him because he seems like a star guy, like just for life. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it. They grabbed him. He was a late bloomer in the amateurs. He turned pro at 19 years old, came out at Unadilla at his very first one, was impressive in the mud. And since then, he's just been this like forever star guy who's always been kind of underrated and overlooked, but he always performs and they always take care of him. And so you know, what's weird is I don't even know if he would benefit going anywhere else. I don't know if he'd be better. I mean, maybe he could get more pay somewhere else, but again, I don't want to dive into his personal life because I don't know the details of this, but I believe he's pretty set as far as his marriage goes. I think there's some stability in like the life part. So to me, I see him as a guy who's going to take whatever is going to make him do the best. And I don't know if he goes anywhere and does better. I think he's kind of perfect there. So I've never even considered him a free agent. I see him as a star guy. If it's Eli and Coop, then he's back. If Eli retires and Deegan moves it, he's back. I see him there. You know, do you? I mean, I just can't even visualize seeing him anywhere else. He just seems like a star lifer.
Let me ask both you jerkies this question. Here's a good question for you. And Daniel, you ran Orange Brigade, and Kellen, maybe you hire and fire guys in the video game world. I don't know how that works. But, okay, if you were team manager, Justin Cooper's probably better than Malcolm, Barsha, and even Anderson at this point when you include outdoors and everything. He's probably a little better. He's not going to be a Sexton or a Jet Lawrence. I don't think. It's still early, but I don't think he's on that level. If the pay is the same and you can hire Jay Coop or Barsha or Malcolm, a couple guys there, and you know they have a fan base and they have a following and they probably have more social media following than Justin Cooper. They're more dynamic, all the things that Phil talked about on Monday night. I think without a doubt, that's true. Do you hire the guy that can beat him, or do you hire the guy that's going to finish 3 spots behind him, same salary, but they have a following and you can market them a little better and all of that stuff? Kellen, what do you do?
I've been high on the J Coop train, so I think of those options, I would hire J Coop because I think
so. Results mean more to you.
I think yes, because unfortunately, if you talk about specifically that realm of falling down to like the 7, 8, 9 range, if you're AP, Barsha, those guys, they don't get as much coverage, period. So while their social presence is good, if you're a team like Star and you're thinking like, we want to get our sponsors on TV more often, a guy like Justin Cooper, who's currently battling for podiums, who starts well and leads races more often, will get you that. And he's younger, so the potential that even more of that comes about is there. Whereas we kind of already know what every other person that you listed there is going to be able to do.
All right, Mr. X Orange Brigade manager.
Well, I managed amateurs, so there was a completely different philosophy with how I managed that. But I'll play along. This is actually a really cool question. So I think Justin Cooper is a 1.5. Like, you have your number 1 guy. That's your Chase. That's your Jet. That's your Coop. That's your Eli. Those are number 1s. Those are title guys. Justin Cooper, I think it'd be a little disrespectful to call him a number 2 because he's so dang good all the time. He's good indoors. He's good outdoors. But at the same time, he's still not a number 1. I don't see him as a guy who's going to win. I don't see that.
I think he can win here and there. I think he can win here and there. Yeah. No?
I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he gets one, and I hope he takes the poodle on the podium again. I hope he does all that. I want that for him. But I still see him as a number 2 guy. And if it's me, a number 2 guy, I need something different than winning. I need that little bit of extra. And let's be honest, Malcolm got a win this year. AP got 3rd at Daytona, and AP's 3rd at Daytona with the Do It for Dale and the cowboy hat. All of that gets 10 times more recognition than Justin's 2nd the very next weekend. So to me, I can't put him in that category. But what I would do, I'll just tell you as a team manager, this is how I would approach it. I would sign either the APs, the Barshas, the Malcolm. I would sign them all, and I'd give them 1-year deals because they would have to prove it every year. I would not give them any security long-term because I don't need you to ever feel secure. You need to prove it every year to keep your deal. And if I couldn't come to an agreement, I would be looking at Jay Coop, and I'd be throwing a 3-year deal at him because I trust him. And I know that he's going to be good there for 3 years. So I would come at him with the security of a 3-year deal. I probably wouldn't be too aggressive on the pay because I don't really think I would have to. So that's how I would approach it. I would be negotiating with both, and I'd be going AP, Bam, Malcolm, here's your 1-year deal. This is what you get because you need to prove it every year. And Jay Coop at the same time, I'd be trying to work maybe a 3-year deal. And however negotiations go, you run with that because I could go either way. But I would lean heavier towards the 1-year deal guy that's going to get me that 1 or 2 night a year. That's going to get me that little extra. Because none of them really I consider to be championship guys or consistent race winners. So that's how I would approach the free agency.
Well, you took my premise and just shit on it, though, because I said same salary, everything. You're talking apples and oranges now. You're talking.
I wouldn't do same salary. I wouldn't do that.
But that was my premise, sir.
Sorry.
No, I get it.
Then I go for the splashier number 2, which is
you hire the Do It for Dale guy.
I would rather do it for Dale. Yep.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, something that was pretty cool for our sport. Like, look, I'm as jaded as they come. I will stand by my statement that we will never become NASCAR. We will never become a Big 4 sport. We were on ESPN. We were on Jay Leno. All of that stuff, my listeners have heard me rant about that, and I stand by that. However, Pat McAfee's about the biggest, hottest thing in sports media. Seems like a good dude. I don't tune in all the time, but certainly here and there, catch some segments on the social media. And to set this up, 8 o'clock Thursday night, they got the call, hey, you're in. Supercross is in. McAfee lives about 30 minutes outside Indianapolis. His studio's there. Thursday, 8 o'clock, we have a segment for you guys. The Feld guys jumped through the hoops to try to get Jet there. Couldn't do it. Couldn't get Kenny there, flights and bikes and all of that stuff. They ended up with Colt Nichols, who actually is a really well-spoken guy and funny and does understand mainstream sports as well. So they actually ended up with a really good guy. And Pat got on the bike, got some fly gear going on the RMZ, rode around a little bit. Really cool deal. Really good for our sport. Again, is it going to put us in the stratosphere towards mainstream? No, not at all. But that's cool, though.
So I got to start by saying how nervous I was because I saw clips on social first. And first off, McAfee said, Colt Nichols, he's a former champ and he's a rookie of the year. And he said on the little preview video, I saw that he's the clear favorite to win this thing. And I'm like, oh no, he's no way. That's not the truth. No offense to Colt, but that's way off. And then they actually had they were singing a song. They were like Supercross, brah, brah, brah. And I'm like, oh no, this is going to be terrible. This is going to backfire. It was terrible. So I was super nervous about it. And then it became probably the raddest thing ever for a number of reasons. Number one, these bigwig guys that get this stuff arranged to, bring us in and whatever, most of the time they're clueless. They're really clueless. They say a couple lines off a sheet of paper that they were given right before. It's terrible. But the fact that dude got gear on, rode the bike, and then Colt, of course, you're right. Colt was the right guy. You could have had a bigger name on there, and it wouldn't have been as good because Colt is with it. And he's hip. He's talking about his girlfriend wiping his ass, and he is so with it and understood, I think, the moment, which was to make our sport cool. And so it turned out to be, I think, one of the raddest things ever because McAfee is current, dude. He is he's rad right now, and everyone loves him. His show is very edgy. Supercross is edgy. So oh man, I was so scared when I first saw the clips. I was like, this is going to be terrible. I think it ended up being maybe one of the radder moments we've had in the mainstream because the right guy, McAfee's out there riding around in the parking lot. Obviously Fly gets their logo blasted. And my son watched it. And my son's got that same gear. And so, I think it was huge. I think it pulled off, not only just to pull it off to make, get us seen, but how about getting us seen in such the right way to have him ride the bike with the gear with Colt Nichols? It was freaking flawless, dude.
Yeah, it was great.
And AC was there too. So he was like a backup or something. Is that
so? Colt's plane was super close to not making it, so they grabbed Adam. And hey, if Colt doesn't make it, you're in. But Adam
would have been fine too. Adam would have been great. Yeah. Adam is funny and witty and playful, and he would have bagged on himself. I mean, he's great. But they nailed it. It all worked out perfectly. Sometimes a square peg goes in the square hole, and that was this one. It was awesome.
I was with you too. I saw social media about Robbie Knievel, and I'm like, oh no,
oh no. I was nervous,
but no, it went really well. And
they sang a song. They were singing a song.
Yeah,
and they called Colt the favorite. I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be so disconnected. It ended up being maybe the most connected thing we've ever had to the mainstream. It was so bitchin'.
Yeah, it was cool. By the way, Troy Lee Designs, Race Tech, email us using the contact form on Pulp to get a code to save it. Troy Lee Designs, Race Tech as well. Tell them you listen to Pulp or this show, and they'll give you a discount on getting your suspension work done or get you some springs. Let's say the winter has been real good to you. You put on a few pounds, Christmas and Thanksgiving, and you're getting back into the riding in the spring here, but you need some springs for your added girth. Well, Race Tech can dial you in for that new bike. So thank you to those guys as well. Alpine Stars protects, their gear, right? Everybody knows that. But they also make protection products. They have knee cups. They have a neck brace. They have a full chest protector that you can wear underneath or over top. I won the A1 Plasma right now. Alpine Stars protects. And they got a whole line of protection products going on-road, off-road, all of it. All cool stuff. Alpine Stars protects. ASV and Decal Works on board with us as well, DB.
That's right. ASV Inventions says they has been innovating. How about still are innovating American-made motocross components and tools since the year 2000? Steve, that's when I graduated high school.
That's when KTM got their first win ever in the AMA competition with Kelly Smith and Steve Matthes. 2000. What a year.
That's right. right out of the gate with the KTM guys. Good year. They are pioneers in innovation, starting with the original folding unbreakable levers. ASV makes parts to fit more years, makes, and models than any other brand and backs every high-quality part with the industry's best customer service and warranty. Visit asvinventions.com. The code is PulpMX in all caps for 20 off. And then, of course, DecalWorks' mission is to cater to those who love to ride, upholding the true definition of quality, service, and knowledge. Visit decalmx.com and use the promo code PulpMX25. You get 20% off your custom graphics.
Also, Jeff Emig was in studio Monday, and ASV is teaming up with Emig's ODI stuff, and they're coming out with special colors of levers and grips. So ASV and Pro teaming up. That'll be available really soon. So
with ODI too, like
yeah, you're gonna get 2 lock-ons and 2 levers. ASV.
Wow, that's pretty rad. That's rad. Dude, the ASV guys are super. They're on it though. They're aggressively making cool moves all over the place. So I'm not surprised. I'm kind of surprised, but I'm also not surprised with them. So that's cool.
Absolutely not. And DecalWorks are great guys too. All right, we're going to get into our fantasy picks. Do you want to do that first, or do you want to do the video first?
I mean,
you have to.
You're the host. You're the host. I know I do. I'm
all right, let's stretch
I'm not a ding dong.
Let's stretch this thing out and make people watch longer. Okay, fantasy. It's amazing. Seriously, this is next level what DB and I are doing, especially me, and DB's in my my tail stream a little bit, but we didn't do Indy. We all know why, but we're going to go back to Daytona. I was almost perfect for the race before Daytona. What was that? Detroit? I don't remember. I was almost perfect.
Like 1 off or something, 1 or 2 points or something.
And for Daytona, Cooper Webb, I said he would get second, and he got second. Malcolm Stewart, I said 6th. He got 6th. People. RJ Hampshire, I said would get 3rd at Daytona, and he won. So I was +2 between 3 riders. I was 2 positions off. Now, our guy DB also did really well. Chase Sexton. Daniel said 2nd, and Chase got 5th. Probably should have got 3rd, but got 5th.
Man.
+3. Justin Cooper, Daniel said 4th, and Jay Coop got 4th. And then Tom Vialle, Daniel, you said 3rd. He got 2nd. You were 4 off. I was 2 off. I lead 82 to 110. Lower score wins, obviously, because closest you get to the finish of the prediction is what we'll do. What we come up with. We will do a show next week before Birmingham, so we'll do the picks then. But that's the result of Daytona. And I mean, honestly, seriously, I'm phenomenal. I am phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say anything, but yes, I agree. And here's the problem. I'm putting down some good stuff because I need to catch up. And you would think the results I'm getting would be helping me, but I'm actually crushing it and I'm losing ground. I don't even know what to do. Like you're going to have to really just tuck the front in one of these because I'm putting up good results every week. And but yeah, we've been saying this now for a few weeks, but we are pretty good. So that means, Kellen, it's on you. Like, who do you want to do what? Because if you want a certain rider to get a certain place, just pick that. We get it every time. So if you're a rider out there, maybe slip Kellen 100 and say, hey, pick me this week because these boys get it every time. And but no, I'm trying to make up ground, Steve. It's just not happening. I'm
on fire. Absolutely. I'm like Kenny Powers, the Blanco Flamo. And it's incredible. And the fraud Kellen, the fraud Brower, has been trying to trip me up, and he just can't. I was
gonna say, now that DB said that, yeah, maybe I make him pick Max Volan next week.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
I was gonna throw you guys an audible for picks this week, but if you guys don't want it, that's fine. I mean, we don't have to do.
What do you mean an audible?
Well, like you said, we're gonna pick for Birmingham next week, but there's still a race this weekend. If you guys want to do picks.
What's the race at Oak Hill or something?
I'm good. Let's go Oak Hill, baby. I got you. I'll make a comeback. No, it's MXGP.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I'm out.
Hey, our boy JT's on a plane, dude. He's psychopath.
If you have a TV job that JT can do, he will come to you. Whatever you are in the world, if you say, JT, you can have some TV time, calling the Brazilian nationals. He will land in Sao Paulo ASAP. Because that man,
I'm talking to the Brazil people right now, so he better lay out of Brazil. That's my gig.
No, I don't want to do MXGP. I mean, no. Let's keep
I wouldn't even know it. I wouldn't even know. I'm not caught up on them right now. I'm catching up on us. So Kellen, let's just take a week off. Like I said, I'm like Chase Sexton right now. I need a week off. I need to reset. We need to kill Steve's momentum. So let's take a week off.
What I'm doing is never been done before, and it should be applauded. I should.
How are you doing in Pulp Fantasy?
I'm leading the experts league, but that doesn't necessarily mean that much. I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right, but yeah, I've done better. But anyway, so yeah, we'll do another show next week. We'll do the Birmingham picks, but MXGP of Spain this weekend should be interesting. I was really surprised by some of those results last weekend. Koldenhoff on the Fantic, like what? Ducati pulling hole shots, like what? And then our guy Big Lou, wrong again, because he just said Geyser was going to just whoop up on everybody. Geyser got third, second, Kellen, he got third,
didn't he? Third behind the Frenchies.
Yeah. So Big Lou once again looking like an idiot.
Off. He's off.
But yeah, Spain this weekend. Kellen, who does win Spain this weekend? Is this Prado's home track, the new one, or no?
No. This is Kozar or whatever. I mean, this should be a bet. I don't know if I'd call it a better track for Geyser, because that one in Argentina should have been one for him too. So probably Fevre and Renault again to be the favorites. But
okay,
I would say Geyser, I think at least wins a moto this week, and I think he gets the ball rolling a little bit more than he had in Argentina. He just looked a little bit off all day.
What'd you say? Sorry, you broke up for me.
Oh, I said he just looked a little bit off in Argentina.
What about MX2? The Wolf?
It should be, but I mean, you could throw a blanket over kind of like 5 guys from Argentina that probably should have won. I mean, Langenfelder really should have won that. And he's looked pretty good already so far to start the year. Everts, who was only on the bike for like a couple of weeks, is going to have another 2 weeks to get even better. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of fun stuff going on in MX2.
I look forward to year 4 of Langenberner making Lewis look bad again. Langenfelder.
Langenberger.
Because Langenberger and Langenfelder making Lewis look bad. All right. Stay tuned for that. Troy Lee Designs, Race Tech, of course. All right. Before to wrap this thing up, Kellen, edit Langenberner out of there, please. Thank you. Such an idiot.
Nope.
Please edit
put
that
it on
out.
Repeat. Make a song out of it. I'll have my producer make a song out of it.
What an idiot I am. Okay, listen. To wrap this thing up, Daniel, your video last week, obviously we all know about it. We're not going to recap it. It's on YouTube. By the way, you made it. You didn't monetize it. You knocked off the monetization. So people are thinking that you were, unleashing truth bombs like the Mandarin to make some money. You did not. You didn't monetize it. So, but we talked privately, of course, that week. We didn't do a show, everything else. You could see your emotion in the video for sure was pretty strong. What's been the reaction to it?
Well, on a personal side, it's been okay. Obviously, a lot of people reached out and just, at first it was a lot of, are you okay? Are you okay? And then it's turned into more of a just like a move on for me. And people have been making sure that all is good as I move on. And I've moved on as fast as I possibly could. And yes, we did take a week off. I needed a couple days. I hadn't watched Daytona, and there's no way I was going to come on and talk about that. It was a heavy load that I had been carrying around that I needed to get rid of. And so I could really move on in life. And so I went right to the races with my son last weekend. Went to Springading yesterday and today. So I've done my part in getting back to normal without the weight of that. But overall, positive response from the people that mattered to me most. And then as far as online goes, I took some really good advice before it came out, which was stay offline the best I could. And obviously I've been in my own DMs, just, responding to people that way. But I've tried to avoid as much of it as I can, because like I said, I never wanted any of this to ever happen. That was the goal. That was the intention from the beginning. But I knew that it would be somewhat of a thing. I didn't know it was going to be this big of a thing. So I've tried to avoid it the best I can and just get back to living. And I've done a pretty good job at it. And this trip at Oak Hill was really big for that. I was able to hang out with all my amateur kids, go from pit to pit, visit all the families, and Even got a chance to get on the mic a little bit with Kevin Windham. He was there calling races. He's at the amateurs now all the time. So I got to kind of get back to being myself again. And now I'm home and ready to go to Loretta Lynn's qualifier this weekend. So yeah, life's back to normal somewhat, but tried to avoid the aftershocks the best I could and did pretty good at it. So
any regrets at all?
No.
Nope. Okay.
No, not a single bit.
All right. I think some of the people, like, look, obviously you laid it out from your side, and there's some serious animosity there built up for a few different reasons, right? And we all watched the video. I think if it was me, and look, people, we talked about it on the Pulp Show, right? JT's in a real tough spot because, I mean, you and him and we're in group text and we're all friends. And then of course he's working with these TV guys,
actually,
right?
Let me jump in and apologize to both of you first, because that did come out on Monday. You guys went right onto the show that night and didn't have anything. You did reach out to me. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was not speaking to anybody. So you guys really didn't have anything to go off of. And yes, you're my friends and you knew some things, but you didn't know all that. Neither did JT. And so again, you were put in a tough spot. I've had people that reached out and were like, kind of mad at what you guys said, but you guys, I'm not, because I don't think you guys had a fair shake at it. And of course, JT does work with all them and hasn't had any of his own issues there. He's had what sounds like a great relationship there. And it's his job, and you're interconnected in the pit area way more than I am, and to everybody there too. So I'll let you go and continue, but I just want to say, I'm sorry, because I did not give you guys anything to go off of as you went live on your show where everybody wanted to know what was up and you didn't have anything. So, I mean, look, bad on that part, but
I've been in the pits a long time, and I've got friends that don't like other friends, and there's people that I don't like. Like, I've called out Kuzo and Bevo for just being the biggest douchebags to me after I took an X-Brand goggle job to try to help me get to the races. So I've done that publicly on my shows, and I've been in that spot where you are. And then I've had friends that like them, and then, you know what I mean? So it's all one of those things where I'm not going to bury anybody because of a beef that a friend has with another friend, right? And all that. I just, like I said on the show, and I want to say it to you here, I think some of the people that you really like and respect were not stoked on that video, as you can imagine, and this is not breaking news to you. And I know you're trying to promote Supercross U. It seems like a really cool thing. And if what happened is true from you, and again, you've got receipts, you said that in the video, it was kind of jacked up, but I just worry that the people that you like, and we know their names, may not be fans of yours, and this may hurt your Supercross U deal. Now, clearly you thought of all this. Clearly you put the video out. But yeah, if it was me, I don't know if I go that hard. And that's saying from somebody who has a Race Tech rant segment, and I yell and scream, and I've literally called people assholes and douchebags on my shows. So that's just my thought on that. Again, all stuff you've thought of. So. Yeah.
I would just say that I didn't care. Didn't care. And I still don't. So simple as that. I don't. Me moving on and clearing my conscience and cutting that weight out of my life is worth more to me than anything else. So at the end of the day, that's fine. Whatever the repercussions would be, career-wise with Supercross, anything like that's so secondary to me. That this was something that I had to do, and it was done in defense.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it was emotional to
you.
You could see it.
Oh well, and the reason why it was emotional, I don't want to dive into it. I don't want to relive it. I don't even want to get the feels again. But I sacrificed a lot of years of my kids' youth. I mean, I'll never get those back. I'll never get my son's years back on a 50, 65, and 85, where he was just he didn't get his dad. And my daughter, I mean, I missed a lot of her life too, because I was chasing a dream that I felt was squashed. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm the best I've ever been at home. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm making up for lost time, and I really have zero regrets for what I did, and I don't care. So I don't say that with animosity. I say that with just full honesty. I'm 100% fine. So.
Yeah. I mean, look, we all have to lay in the bed that we make, and I've done that as well over the years, and you're going to have to do that, and you know it, and you accept it. So, but it definitely was the talk, and Kellen can vouch for this. It was definitely the talk of the pits, both good and bad. Some people, were like, yeah, and some people were like, not cool, not good. Again, all stuff that you have thought about and but we're not canceling this show, or we're not doing anything. We're moving on to that, and but yeah, I did want to get your reaction a little bit to your video. So yeah,
I will add one thing. I do want to put just a actual puncture wound right into this narrative that is out there, that this is about me not getting what I wanted. It had nothing to do with me not getting the booth full time and getting what I wanted quick enough or anything like that. It was actually the exact opposite. I mean, I'll even give you a little more insight, but during the 2023 season, I was in talks to go to the outdoors that year because Supercross and motocross had merged. It was all kind of this big grand thing. And I was in talks with them to go to the outdoors and be the second pit reporter next to JT. You know how they bring Will in sometimes. So this was nothing about me not liking that I didn't get what I wanted, and I was pouting, and I was not happy with the fast track that wasn't happening fast enough. That was 0% it. In fact, I was willing to ride the calendar out for as long as needed. I had made the commitment to be good at every role that I was in. I refocused my prep towards every role. I elevated my interviews, race day live, the floor, everything went up in 23 because I wanted to just be good at everything and ride the clock out as long as needed to be to get that shot. So it was nothing to do with me not getting what I wanted. I was willing to go to the outdoors, which I had never done, and do some pit reporting at a couple races with JT. So
but
just want
to be fair, you were worried about your feet. You were worried about your feet. Outdoors.
I was worried about my feet, and that was part of it. That was part of the talks was, hey man, I get to sit a lot because I'll give you all another little secret. I spent a lot of time underneath the podium. That's where I did mine. I know JT's out there but if I had his guns and his hair and everything, maybe I'd be out flexing too. But no, my feet are pretty jacked up. So I actually sat underneath the podium in a chair, and whoever my random monitor person would be that week, they would be under there with me, just standing under the podium, holding the monitor so I could see. And that's where I called most of the races when I was the floor guy. And in the outdoors, though, I was, again, looking to do maybe a couple of those. So this wasn't about me not getting what I wanted. It had nothing to do with that. I had already been told I wasn't going to get what I wanted in 2022. And I was pissed for about an hour and then signed on and leveled up in everything I was doing because I want to be better at everything. So just want to make sure that's clear because that's out there in a couple places. Not only it's been said, but it's been in print in a place that I'm pretty bummed about. So no, that is not it. That's 100% inaccurate.
All right. Yeah. Well, yep. Should be interesting to see how it goes. I wish you luck with anything that you want to do. I don't think you'll be on Race Day Live anytime soon. So maybe clear your calendar of that. But I got to go on.
Yeah, I'll delete that out of my schedule. That was in there in pencil. We'll erase those out.
I would think maybe they have an opening in 2034 for you. 2035.
Maybe when everyone's retired.
Maybe circle back in about 10 years, DP, and see if they got a spot for you. But hey, yeah, it is what it is.
Nah, I'm good. I'll be in 2034. Let's see. I'll be in there with my son. So if they let me in 2034, I'll be in the pit area with my son. So
all right, awesome. And by the way, how was the amateur race? Who were the big winners, real quick, if you can? And how's K-Dub?
K-Dub is. This guy, I swear, if you just he was laughing at himself because he's got reader glasses on now, and he was asking, does this look bad? Does this look bad on camera? Do I need to take my readers off? And we're like, no, dude, you look great. So he is amazing and so dedicated to amateur racing. Obviously, he coaches a bunch of kids now. That's his life, but he doesn't have to be there grinding it out. And even one of the kids in the C class, he ended up having like dinner with him at the cantina. Like he is so core. It's unbelievable. So that part was cool. But the race was rad. So it's the Spring-a-Ding. I'm sure you've heard of it. They got the mustaches. It's a really, really rad outdoor amateur national. But they added a Supercross portion. That's why I went. I'm a Supercross guy. I love Supercross so much. And last year I was there as a team manager. It was a little wild and chaotic the first year because it was new. But this year was unbelievable. They did a break in between the mains, like a 4-hour break to give everyone dinner, and they came back with the lights. It was phenomenal. And as far as big winners go. There is a kid there that stood out to me. I'm not going to say his name just in case Bobby hears this because I want everyone else to have a shot. But there is a Levi Kitchen 2.0 kid out there that was pretty damn impressive. And then some of my kids, I have a Supercross U kid that I manage named Talon Rogers. He's a little 65, 7 and 9-year-old kid, and he won his Supercross championship in the 65 class. So that was great to be there with him and get to be with his family. And so to me, it was super fulfilling personally, and a rad race. It's going to blow up. I mean, the track is perfect for amateurs. The 50s were battling. There's a kid named Boone Lloyd and a kid named Edwin Meyer on 50s that were literally like skidding into each other, like stuffing each other. And then nice. The A main and B main, it was chaos. There was takeouts all over. It was incredible, and it's going to blow up. It's going to, in the next few years, that's going to become a standalone big deal because they nailed it this year in year 2. So it was awesome. Awesome. Cool. Look, anytime you can hang out with K-Dub, which I got to do at Loretta's last year, is a fun time. He's a rad dude for sure. He's so core and so humble and so like you just don't even know it's him, man. He's so regular. It's weird because he's K-Dub and he's like a legend, but he doesn't think he is. It's just weird. It's weird hanging with him because he's so amateur core. It's crazy. Well said. All right, everybody. That's a wrap on this week's Blair Matthes project. Race Tech, TLD, big sponsors of this thing. Thank you to those guys. Zool, Seat Concepts, Firepower, ASV Levers, Decal Works, Maxis, Alpine Stars, all on board with us. Thank you, Kellen Brower, for your help behind the scenes. And DB, as always, we will see you next week. We'll dive into Birmingham and get into all that stuff as well. So thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Apologies for last week, but hey, we needed a break, and we're back. So thanks again, everybody. Peace out.